And we're live. Welcome back, everyone, to a very special episode of FPL Focal. Today is the start of the Euros, and we're live for a deadline stream. How's everyone doing? Are we excited for the Euros? We're just under an hour away from the deadline. It is 7:04 in the UK. I started the stream a couple minutes late. I don't know how, but I didn't have the stream key set up on OBS, so I'm a little bit rusty. It's been about 3 weeks since the Premier League ended now, but we made it live in the end. As I say, we're just under an hour till the deadline. I have to say, the first game of the Euros feels like it would be a good one. Turkey play Italy, and we have the lineups already. Despite Turkey only conceding 3 goals in their 10 games during the qualifying games, I think it's going to be a good game for the Italy attackers. So yeah, welcome to the stream, everyone. If you do enjoy the stream, want to see more, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. Spongy, Monkey Man, Afan, Aiden, Penguin, James, Gareth, how we doing? How's the teams looking? Do you guys have any players in this evening's game? And if so, who have you got? Monkey Man says it's me again. Monkey Man back, and he's going to be desperate to take the FPL Focal Mini League this season, after narrowly missing out on the FPL Mini League last season. 3 players off your team, James. Are you joking? Who have you got that's different? So this is the first time I've actually shown my draft to anyone. I've gone for a pretty heavy front 3. Evidently I've got Ronaldo, Lukaku and Depay. In midfield, Gnabry, Ferran Torres, probably butcher this name, Malinovsky. Then I've got Berardi. Obviously, Berardi plays tonight. We've seen the lineups, and he's playing. Spongy, I know you've got Berardi, and Spinazzola as well. I'm going to get so many of these names wrong, so apologies every time that happens. And in defence, I've got the double up, so I've gone for Kaya and Mela, and then Windau from Netherlands. And then on my bench, I've got Backerman, Pau Torres, João Cancelo and Nigo. So that's my team. That's how I'm lining up. Obviously one of the key differences in Euro Fantasy is you can make subs even during games. So an important thing to look at is the date column here. So you can see in my case, I've got the players that start later on my bench. So for example, Pau Torres actually plays before Gnabry, so I'm going to sub Gnabry off and Pau Torres in. And that's the way you want to play the game, consistently keeping an eye on how your players do, making subs as we go. Penguin, I don't know if you're still here, but I have to say, I tuned into your stream the other day and I was absolutely humbled by your wealth and knowledge in European football, because I like to think I know plenty about FPL and the Premier League, but there's so many countries playing at these Euros, so many different leagues that they're coming from, that I have to say, I don't know nearly as much as the likes of Penguin and Aiden. So Aiden's got Insigne, Spinazzola and Donnarumma and Ukitsi on the bench. So I assume you're going to start with Ukitsi because he is starting tonight. So this is the lineup. Let's have a look at the Turkey-Italy lineup. It is as follows. So yeah, Berardi's one of those. Only 6 mil, and he's been in good form in qualifiers. Starts for Italy. Looks an absolute bargain. Ukitsi. Yazitsi is another one. Another player who's been in good form. He's only 5.5, I think. And Yilmaz obviously has had an incredible season as well. So I'm hoping for a high-scoring game tonight. I do think it's going to be a good game for the Italy attackers. Hopefully Berardi will be involved. You say Kier. Okay, Kier. Because yeah. Lewis, how you doing? He says, when are you using the wild card? I think what I'm probably going to do is I'll use the Limitless chip in Matchday 2, and then I plan to wildcard in the knockout stages, maybe in the round of 16. Krish, how you doing? How's the team looking, Krish? How you doing? Welcome back. Jano, how you doing? He says, I'm going to skip Euros Fantasy. Been busy enough. Need to save some brain cells for next season's FPL. Fair enough. Well, I appreciate you tuning in to the stream then, in that case. Good to have you here, Jano. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. Hopefully tonight's going to be a good game. Obviously, as I said earlier, you can make subs literally in the middle of the game. So in my case, I've got Berardi playing tonight. He's my only one. Armbands on him. And then if Berardi blanks, then I probably will bring on one of the guys off the bench. and the armband will move to whoever plays next. So it's the 11th today. Barali plays tonight. Tomorrow I've got Lukaku, and then the day after that I've got Depay, etc, etc. So that is the strategy, and that's how you maximise your points. Let's do a quick news roundup. So starting with Spain, there was a couple of players that got COVID. I think it was Busquets and Llorente from Leeds. They got COVID, so the whole squad has now received the COVID vaccination. Hopefully it doesn't affect how they play. Obviously there can be side effects. I don't know if Lurker's here from our Discord, but he got the vaccination very recently, and he's been struggling with the side effects he was moaning about on the Discord. This isn't even in English. I've had to fish around from all sorts of sources, but I think it's fairly well known that Kulusevski and Svanberg from the Sweden side, another two that got COVID, so they're going to miss the opening game. Van der Beek, this is fairly old news now. Van der Beek is out for the Euro 2020 with an injury. No replacement to be called up by Frank de Boer. I feel really bad for Van der Beek after the terrible season he's had with Man United. Couldn't get a look in the starting 11, you know, besides in some of the other competitions. So a shame for him to miss out. Another article, not in English. Kevin De Bruyne, he was the King of Belgium, was talking to the Belgium squad, as I understand it, and he was speaking to De Bruyne in particular, and De Bruyne said to him that he hopes to play in the second match. So if you've got KDB in your side, you definitely want to get rid, because he's not going to play the first game, and his words were that he hopes to make the second game. Another player who may miss the first game is Benzema, who had an injury scare in one of the friendlies. He played against Bulgaria and came off, and he was on the bench with an ice pack on his knee. A good budget keeper has emerged. So the Austrian manager confirmed that the budget goalkeeper Daniel Bachmann, 4.5 mil, will be Austria's first choice for the Euros. Absolute bargain. He's in my draft, and he plays after Hradecky, who is the 4 mil keeper who's in many teams. And they've got a good fixture, obviously. They play against North Macedonia first in their opening match day. And there has been some other news from the Austria camp. It looks like the back four will be Olmo, Hinteregger, Dragovic and Lehner. So it looks like Alaba, Sabitzer and Baumgartner are going to be the midfielders. And obviously the major news is Phil Foden's got a new trim. What do we think about Phil Foden's new trim? It's bleached it bright blonde. Not sure about this one. Maybe he's doing a Ronaldo. Not CR7, the other Ronaldo, who had that horrendous hairstyle for the World Cup so that his son could see him on TV. So we've got Mesut Ozil's draft. This is his team. What do you guys think of Ozil's draft? I noticed there's quite a few players here that he's played with before, for club and country. So he's got the likes of Rudiger and Sané from Germany. He's got Benzema. Obviously they were together in the Real Madrid days. Likewise Ronaldo. He's got Morata. I'm not sure if Morata is even expected to play or not. And then they got Gerard Moreno, who's expected to be #1 striker for Spain, if I'm not mistaken. Pepe in defence, another one. They play together at Madrid. I also noticed he's tripled up on Turkey players, while he's only got 2 Germany players. I don't know if that's going to annoy any Germans or not. He said it was inspired by Gaza. Oh, was he? Okay, yeah, I remember Gaza had the bright blonde hair. I don't remember it from watching him live. It was before my time, but I know Gaza was famous for that haircut. Johnny says, the lad makes millions as younger than me. I feel like he's got me beaten even with that questionable hairstyle. I mean, he's got us all beaten, to be honest. He could get with absolutely anyone he wants, any supermodel out there. Regardless of whatever haircut he has, to be honest with you. So I've got the goal scorer odds for Matchday 1, which is as follows. So Lewandowski is top, according to the bookies, for goal scorer odds in the first matchday. 47% chance of a goal they're giving him. Followed very closely by Ronaldo, who plays Hungary. Looks an absolute standout, Ronaldo, for that Hungary game. Kane and Milik are tied, 38% chance of a goal in Matchday 1. Kane obviously playing Croatia, which is Quite a tough opening game, but you know, Kane's been in very good form for club and country. Chris says, Focal, what do you think of Eriksen versus Bale? I'd absolutely go for Bale. I'm sorry, I'd absolutely go for Eriksen there. I think he's got a better fixture, better group, and they just look like a good side. Wales, I'm not sure. A bit of a wild card, really, but I think Eriksen is a very, very good pick. And I was looking for ways to fit him in my team, but I couldn't squeeze him in. But I think Eriksen's going to do very well at these Euros. Aiden says, not tempted by Denier or Munir. Munir, definitely not. It looks like Castagna could be their first choice. He might even be second choice Munir. So I wasn't tempted by him. Denier, yeah, I think he's a good option. Doesn't really have the attacking threat. So I think he's a really good option, Denier, but I just couldn't find a way to squeeze him in. I think there's a very small chance of him being rotated, depending on if the Marlon's fit or not. Don't know if there's anything to that or not, but I think ideally you want to have nail players for the first few match days, because you're very limited with your transfers. And obviously what we could see happen is if there's some countries that have qualified after the first 2 games, then they're going to rotate heavily for that 3rd game because they've got no reason to put out a strong side. So it's going to be difficult. I did play in the last Euros Fantasy as well, and it was so long ago I can barely remember it, but I do remember there being a huge amount of rotation for that. Mikey Mad says, would you go Insigne and a useless 3rd striker, or Bernardi and Arnautovic? Definitely Bernardi and Arnautovic, yeah, 100%. Berardi's been in good form, by the way, in the qualifiers. It's not like he's just a budget option that you don't expect anything from. He's been in good goal scoring form. Looks like a good option. And I've got the goal scorer odds broken down by the actual game. So for tonight's game, Immobile is top, 45% chance of a goal. Berardi, again, he's up there, 3rd top, according to the bookies, for scoring in this game. 34% chance of a goal for Berardi. I'm going to switch the AC on. Please tell me if you guys can hear it on the mic or not, and I'll turn it back off. It's absolutely roasted in here, but I just bought myself like a portable air conditioner. Is the mic picking it up or not? I can't see the mic ticker moving, so hopefully not. It's actually a roasting day today in the UK. Roasting. Who's going to win the Euros, guys? Is it coming home? Is it England? I think France have to be favourites, right? France's side just looks so strong in every position, with unbelievable depth on the bench as well. Oh, you can't see the Italy one. Sorry. Let me zoom out. There you go. So what I've done is I've put links to all the key points that we cover in the description. So if you guys wanted to have a look at this independently in your own time, then feel free to. There's loads of content. Oh, you can hear it. Alright, I'll turn it back off. That's alright, I'm going to get my sweat on for this stream. I might end up shirtless by the end of the stream. No one wants to see that, but it might happen. So, what else is noteworthy here? Lukaku is 48% chance of a goal against Russia. Lukaku is one I've got in my side. I think he's going to have a good Euros. Kane, 46% chance of a goal against Croatia. Austria, Arnautovic. Looks like a really good budget striker to have in your team. Chris says, what are your snacks for the evening? Well, I've got a beer here. I ordered my groceries, which arrived earlier, off Amazon Prime, and that included 3 tubs of Pringles. So it could be Pringles tonight. I picked 3 different flavours as well. I've got paprika, salt and vinegar, and sour cream and chive. I'm thinking paprika this evening. Basley, how you doing? He says, would you take double Italy attacker? Yeah, I think it's viable. Triple up, I would say no. I've seen a few people triple up on Italy attack, and I'd say that's definitely overkill. But I think a double up is viable. As long as one of them is a cheaper player. I think Berardi and Immobile is a decent double up. I wouldn't double up like Insigne and Immobile, something like that. And the goal scorer odds for the games that I couldn't fit on the screen. Depay, another one who looks outstanding for the Euros. Looks like a really, really good pick. 40% chance of a goal against Ukraine for him. Lewandowski, 53% chance of a goal against Slovakia. Again, this is all in Matchday 1. Ronaldo has the best goal scoring odds for Matchday 1. 56% chance of a goal against Hungary. Looks like a very, very enticing game that Hungary won. If Jota was nailed, he would have been straight in my team, and he was in my draft, a few of my drafts. But the problem is he rotates with João Felix, so I think there's a concern that Jota will end up coming off around the 60th or so minute. Obviously, he can do the damage in that time. We saw in the last Premier League season that he got quite a few goals coming off the bench, you know, with only 10-20 minutes. But ideally, you want your players to play the maximum amount of minutes to maximise their potential return for you. So let's have a look at the clean sheet odds. I've got them for Matchday 1, 2 and 3. So again, if anyone wants to look at these further, there's links to all of this in the description. So across the 3 games, the Netherlands have the best expected clean sheet odds. And Wijndal looks like a very, very good player to have. Only 4.5 in that Netherlands defence. Spain, another one with a good 4.5 option. Pau Torres. I know he's in a lot of people's drafts, and he looks like a really good enabler. I guess there's a small rotation risk with him as well. Maybe Eric Garcia comes in, but I'm happy to own him for that price. Italy also have really good clean sheet odds. Spinazzola is one I've seen in a lot of drafts. He looks like a very good option for the 3 Italy games. Gareth says, worth taking the risk for Steck. Is that Stecklenburg? I think it's worth the risk, yeah. I think so. On our Discord, there's quite a few Dutch people actually, and they fancy Stecklenburg to be first choice. So for 4.5, he looks like another good option as a cheap enabler. James says Schmeichel or Meili or Hradecki and Walker. Definitely Schmeichel and Meili. The problem with Walker is that he's not even nailed. You know, we've taken Trippier, we've taken James, so we've got quite a few options in right back, and obviously Trent pulled out, but I think we would have ended up with 4 right backs for the England team if Trent had come as well. I'm forgetting who the third is now, but obviously with that in mind, Walker's absolutely not nailed, so I would say the first option looks better. And UEFA actually posted some expected points for the first match day. These are the top 5 expected points. Lukaku is top with 9.2 expected points, followed by Ronaldo with 8.7, Lewandowski 8.5, Kane 8.4, and interestingly Ferran Torres 8.3 expected points. Obviously you can see he's significantly cheaper than the other 4, so I'm really happy to own Ferran Torres, and he hit some good form for City at the tail end of the season. Sean says Ronaldo or Bruno. Ronaldo, in my opinion. Bruno's not even on penalties for Portugal. It's obviously Ronaldo who takes them. Ronaldo is that focal point of their attack, if I can use the word focal on my own stream. Sponchy says Klajic or Arnautovic. I would go Arnautovic. Mikey Man asks, is it confirmed he will play a Krul or Stecklenburg? It's not confirmed, but the general consensus is that it's Stecklenburg. Obviously we'll see whether that is the case or not, but it is what I've read from quite a few sources. So I'd say it's going to be Stecklenburg. So I came across this graphic. This is from FPL Big Andy on Twitter, and I like this because for those that played FPL, it's laid out in the same format as the FPL fixture ticker, so it's color coordinated from this darkish red color all the way to green based on how easy the fixture is. And then they've got this column at the end which is FDR, fixture difficulty rating, and it's basically rated the 3 fixtures and color coordinated them. So those teams in green are obviously the ones to target, which are Italy, Netherlands, England and Spain. So again, if anyone wants to have a look at this in more detail, because there's a lot to squeeze into this stream, there is a link to this in the description as well. Sean says, what position does Torres play? I believe he plays down the right wing for Spain as well. Same as City, but he's a very attacking player. Obviously got a hat-trick in the final few game weeks for City. I think it was against Newcastle. So he's a very attacking player, and he's really developed well already under Pep. He was kind of forced into the side at the start of the season because City had so many injuries. And then he got the odd minutes here and there. And then, as expected, once City had the league wrapped up, he got more minutes and did extremely well. So I'm happy to own Ferran Torres for only 8 mil, I think he costs. So, for those that watched my FPL streams, we did a little game called Who's That Player? This is a slightly different version. And it's a two-parter. The first is, can you name the country that the kit belongs to? And if you can you name the player that the shirt belongs to? So this is the first one. Should be a fairly easy one, but who is that player? And if you're not sure, can you name whose country the kit belongs to? Number 9. Brian, how you doing, mate? He says, hi, mate. Would you go Carrasco, Alaba, Ronaldo, or Insigne, Jota, Yilmaz? I would go... It depends if option 1 leaves you without an Italy player. Because if you have no Italy players, then you obviously have no one playing tonight, so I'd go for option 2. But otherwise, I'd go option 1. But just be wary that I think if Hazard's back, it could put Carrasco's minutes at risk. Adam got it. Adam, I didn't see you sneaking, mate. Belgium, it was Belgium, and it was Lukaku. Nailed it. Okay, let's do a slightly harder one. What country is that kit, and who's that player? Reyna, how you doing? Aiden got it. Belgium, Lukaku. Number 10. What country is that? And if you know the country, who is the player? Adam says Portugal, Bruno. Tougher one, this one, isn't it? I'll give you some clues. It's not Portugal. It's not Bruno, obviously. It's not Belgium, not Hazard. Monkey Man got it. The answer was Thiago, number 10 from Spain. Alright, this one is a pretty iconic kit, so guesses in the chat if you recognise the kit, and guesses in the chat if you know who wears number 10 for this country. Ayush, how you doing, mate? Fashionably late. Doing a round of who's that player, so guesses in the chat, Ayush, if you recognise the kit, and guesses in the chat if you recognise the player that wears that number for the country. It is Croatia. Sponsor, you got it. Monkey Man got it. Ayush came straight into the chat and just smashed it. The answer was Rodric from Croatia. Aiden got it. Reyna got it. Alright. Who's that player? Number 9. Iconic white kit. Kobe says, hey mate, did I miss anything? We were looking at the clean sheet odds, the goal scorer odds, expected points. We had some fixture difficulty ratings. I've put links to those graphics in the description, Kobe, so you're welcome to catch up on those. All the key points we cover on this stream will be in the description. Those are the main bits that we covered. Obviously, the Italy-Turkey lineup is out as well. So guesses in the chat. Who's this number 9? What's the country? Who's the player? Sponsor guesses Lewandowski. Kobe guesses Lewandowski from Poland. Ayush Lewandowski. It was indeed Lewandowski. Record breaker. Yeah, good point, Adam. Absolutely smashed it in the Bundesliga. Set a new record for goals scored. anyone's not in our Discord, there's a link to that in the description. I've set up some channels on the Discord exclusively for the Euros. So we've got this channel, which is the Euros stream. So, you know, all the news that comes out, lineups, whatever. We've got this one, which is the live scores. So obviously today's game is just Turkey v Italy. So this will update in real time when the goals are scored. We've got the predictions league. Loads of predictions come in. So thank you everyone for getting your guesses in. I'll lock this channel once the deadline hits us. Obviously we've got the mini league details, links in the description to the mini leagues as well. We've got the Euros alerts. So this one activates whenever we are approaching a deadline. So whether that is in a match day deadline, like right now, I can see this did go off, or likewise if there is a substitution window deadline, because that's going to be a key thing to track as well, the substitution windows, because those are going to be your chances to make subs, bring on players off your bench, or take off players who didn't return for you. We've also got the Euros stats bot, so you can use, good to see everyone using the commands, you can do EU info and then type a player, and it will give you information about that player. The other one you can do is points. And this gives you information about the predicted points for players. And you can even do things like points defenders, and it'll give you information about the defenders. So that's the link to the Discord is in our description. Get involved. So I don't know if I'm going to have time to cover all this content in this stream. We've got half an hour to go. But I wanted to talk about the most owned players. So let's start off with that. Start off with the goalkeepers. So the most owned keepers, I think quite so unexpectedly, or expectedly, sorry, is Hrdecki from Finland. Only 4 mil and expected to be the first choice for Finland. 35% of managers owning him. Donnarumma, second, 5.5. He's a good pick. Obviously, we were looking at the clean sheet odds, and Italy well up there across the three. And they've got a relatively good group. Obviously, tonight's game is Turkey. And it wouldn't surprise anyone if they do keep a clean sheet in tonight's fixture. Courtois, another one. Belgium, decent side, obviously, and they've got a fairly good group as well. They've got Russia in Matchday 1. So let's move on to the defenders. What do you guys think about this? Ruben Dias is the most owned defender by some margin as well. 39% of managers own Ruben Dias. Does anyone know how many managers have actually signed up for Euros Fantasy? Is there a way to check that even? So I'm curious. Oh, there we go. So 2.75 million managers signed up for Euro Fantasy so far. So it's 39% of. So about 1 million managers own Ruben Dias, which I think is very high considering Cancelo is priced exactly the same. And only a quarter of managers own him. And obviously Cancelo has been in very good form in the qualifiers and friendlies. I think he got a goal and an assist in a friendly a couple of days ago. So I'm surprised to see Dias more owned than him. Dias obviously got Premier League Player of the Season, but that's another talking point. Don't get me started on that. James says Alba could be amazing. Yeah, Alba's still got it, to be fair. Yeah, he's a very attacking left back. Could do very well at the Euros. Got a lot of assists in him. Chris says, sorry Focal, did you think you could see Ferran Torres or Eriksen and Nigo? Tough one that. Obviously you can't expect anything from Nigo, and he plays I think on the last match day, so in a way your hands are a bit tied there. You've got one less player to call upon, because I wouldn't really want to be calling upon him. But I do think Eriksen's going to do really well, so it's a tough one. I think Eriksen and Nigo just edges it. James says, how the hell did KDB get it? It's rigged. Was it KDB? I thought it was Ruben Dias that got Player of the Season. I think. Might be mistaken. But obviously Kane got the golden boot and he also got the most assists. So the most owned midfielders, tell me what you guys think of this. N'Golo Kante, 45% of managers own Kante. 5.5 mil. I'm never keen on owning defensive players in fantasy football. obviously in the Premier League, Fantasy Premier League, it's not a good idea because you don't get anything for things like tackles, and you rarely get any attacking points. So I don't think Kante is a good pick for 5.5. I'd be much more inclined to go for Alaba. He's also 5.5. Nigo, obviously very highly owned. He looks like the only base price player, 4 mil, who might get some minutes. Mason Mount, 7 mil. Under a third of managers own him. Bruno Fernandes, quarter of managers own him. Kimmich, another one. Can you guys guess who's the most owned forward in the game? And considering there are some big hitters, you got Mbappe, Ronaldo, Lukaku, Lewandowski, Kane. There's a lot of big budget strikers in the game. Can you name the most owned one? They're actually the most owned player in the entire game. It's Lukaku. 50% of that 2.75 million managers own Lukaku. I'll be frightened to go without him if anyone doesn't have him, because he could do very well in those group stages. Obviously, he's just won Serie A as well with Milan. What? What have I done here? Oh, I think I've accidentally put it on all players instead of forwards. I have to tell you, I made this graphic about half an hour before the stream. Hence some of the problems with the production quality, but there we go. The rest of the graphics I've been working on all day, so I hope you appreciate them. And if you are appreciating the graphics, do like the stream, subscribe to the channel. All appreciated. What else have I got? I've got the penalty takers for each country, which is as follows. There's a couple of defenders in there as well. Ricardo Rodriguez, 5.5 mil defender. Should be on penalties for Switzerland. Obviously this is a fairly old graphic, and at the time when it was made, the squads went out, and Ramos may have made the Spain squad, but obviously didn't. In fact, no Madrid players made the Spain squad, interestingly. Another one that might is Granvist for Sweden, but it looks like Larsson's probably going to be first choice. Again, if you want to look at this graphic in more detail, there is a link to this in the description below. The other thing in the description is a link to our mini league if you haven't joined. Make sure you get involved with that too. So yeah, this is how my team's learning. I'm interested to know what you guys think of my team. Do you think it's a strong team? Are there any notable players that I've omitted? I'll just sort it by price. I think I've hit all the various price points. You know, in my forwards, I've got Ronaldo for 12, Lukaku for 11, Depay for 10. In midfield, I've got Torres for 7, for 8, and then I've got 7, 6. Gnabry's on the bench for 9.5. Sean says, will Alaba do well? I think he's a good option, Alaba. He's not as defensive as he has been for Bayern. He plays in midfield for Austria. So for 5.5, I think he's a decent enabler. Could do well. I think it's very difficult to say yes, he'll absolutely do well, but they've got a very good opening fixture. Obviously, Austria play North Macedonia. After that, they've got a couple of harder games. They play the Netherlands, and then they've got Ukraine. Do you guys have a chip strategy in mind when you're planning to use your chips? Obviously, another difference to FPL, in addition to how the subs work, is the chips. So there's no bench boost. There's no triple captain. But there is the Limitless chip, which is a very, very powerful chip. And Limitless works like free hit in FPL. But you get an unlimited budget as well. So you can spend literally as much as you want. So you can have all these big hitters up front. But you also can have a stacked midfield. You know, if it looks like De Bruyne's going to be back for match day 2, then you could have a front three of Ronaldo, Lukaku, Lewandowski. And then you could have the likes of De Bruyne, etc. Bruno in midfield as well. So I'm thinking Limitless in match day 2. I think match day 3 is probably a bad time to play it, because like I said earlier, some teams are going to have their groups wrapped up by then, and therefore probably rotate quite heavily. Whereas match day 2 is going to be a very, very important match day for all teams, really. It's going to be make or break for a lot of teams. So I expect a lot of teams to go all out for match day 2, and therefore I think it's a good time to use the free hit. Or use the the limitless, I should say. Adam says, I think Zinchenko would be a good differential. Yeah, he's another one. He's out of position. Zinchenko's classed as a defender, I believe, on here. But he does play in midfield for Ukraine. Yeah, so he's 5.5 and he's classified as a defender. Obviously for Man City, he's been playing as a defender pretty much all of the season, barring 1 or 2 games. But he actually plays in midfield for Ukraine, so he's an interesting out-of-position option. Sean, how you doing, mate? He says, will Denier do well? Yeah, I think he's a very good option for 4.5. There's a lot of good 4.5 options. I couldn't fit them all in my team. I wanted to have Cancelo as a more premium defender. But you've got the likes of Pau Torres, Mela, Kaya, Vindal, all 4.5, and then Denier as well is a very cheap route into that Belgian defence. So yeah, I think he's I think he'll do well. I think he's a good enabler. All right, we are 2/3 of the way through the deadline stream. Let's play another round of Who's That Player. We've got a few more for you guys. So let's start off with this one. Who is that player? And if you're not sure who the player is, can you name the country? There's a clue on the shirt. You can see the outline of the country if you know your geography, which I absolutely don't, to be fair. Flisk, how you doing, mate? He says Bachmann and Spinazzola, Donnarumma and Denier. I think I would go Bachmann and Spinazzola. James agrees. I mean, if you're looking to spend 5.5 on a keeper or defender, it makes sense to spend that on a defender because they could get you something attacking. Whereas a keeper, obviously, really is just going to get a clean sheet, maybe some save points, that sort of thing. James says Malinovsky, Ukraine. It is a Ukraine kit. Sponchy reckons it's Yarmolenko. James reckons it's Malinovsky. The answer was Yarmolenko, Ukraine. The iconic yellow kit. Alright, everyone should get the next one. What country is that kit and who wears the number 9 for that country? Number 9. He's a player I had in quite a few of my drafts, actually, but I ended up selling him, big clue, for Ronaldo. I had 0.5 in the bank, so I ended up selling him for Ronaldo. Skulls is also a correct answer, but yeah, the answer was Kane. Mikey Man got it as well. Sean says Troy Parrott. It's not Troy Parrott, unfortunately. Good guess, though. Alright, we'll do a couple more of these. Who is that player? Who wears number 7 for that country? What country is it? Guesses in the chat. Just a couple of more of these and then we're done. And then I'll show you my team as well, only for fun. Pepe or Vindal, Vizzy asks. I would go Vindal. Definitely. He plays in wing back, so he plays a bit more advanced, while Pepe is more expensive and plays obviously just in centre back. And it's going to be up to the fullbacks to get the attacking returns for Portugal. You can't expect much from Pepe. Oh, this one might have stumped you guys. It's not Denmark. It's not Eriksson. It's not Arnautovic. Number 7. I'll give you a massive clue. The country is Austria. Number 7 for Austria. It's not Kalsic. Good guess. Mikey Man says, if the Euros was last year, Norway would have at least one person in the Euros. Danish manager. Once you got it, it's Alaba. Alright, last one. Bear with me. There we go. Another red kit. I actually thought I had it wrong. That's why it took so long to switch to this, because I was like, wait, is that right? Number 11. This one's difficult, or at least I think it is. Maybe the hardest of the lot. I'd be impressed if anyone in chat gets this one. Number 11. Who wears number 11 for this country with the red kit? It's not Hazard. Good guess. It's not Hollander. It's not Doku. Difficult one, this one. I think you might kick yourself. I mean, I prepared this graphic and I was kicking myself because I forgot who it was. But the country is Wales. Number 11 for Wales. The answer was Gareth Bale. James says it's me. It wasn't you, James, I'm afraid. Good guess. This is my team only for fun. So I've got Berardi captain. He's my only player actually in tonight's game. And then tomorrow my plan is to have the armband on Lukaku. And then the 13th, the plan is to have it on Depay. 14th, I'll probably have it on Ferran Torres. And then 15th, I'm likely to have the armband on Cristiano Ronaldo. And that is, as we've talked about, the key difference in Euro Fantasy is that you can make substitutions, you can change your captaincy. So it's good to have players spread out between the various match days. So this is a Captaincy Matrix. And again, there's a link to this in the description. And this is a good way to plan out potential captains across the various game days, across each match day. Obviously, got 3 match days in this first group stage. So these are some potential options that you could captain in each of those games. And this is going to be really important to maximize your potential points. Because if you're going into a match day and you're not switching your captain to anyone, then that means you're, reducing your potential points. So you definitely want to have options on each match day if you can help it. Mikey Man asked a good question though. How many points do you want on your captain to keep him as your captain? Now, another difference in Euro Fantasy is that there's no bonus points, unlike FPL. So if you look at a player and he scored 1 goal and you think, oh, he's only got whatever that many points is, don't be dissuaded by how FPL works. Because you might look at FPL and you have a player who scores and you might get a couple of bonus, maybe 3 bonus. And when you double that, it's massive points. But it's a lot harder to hit those same points on Euro Fantasy because there's no bonus. So that's something to bear in mind. I think I would probably be happy with a single goal, unless it came very early. So if Berardi plays tonight and he gets just 1 goal, maybe just 1 assist, then I'm going to move it on to another player. But I think you also have to assess how late into that match day you are. We've got Lewandowski in game day 4 here. If he ends up picking up a goal against Slovakia, then I would be very likely to just take that goal and keep it and bank it, bank the points. But also it depends on your risk tolerance, you know, if you're playing for fun or if you're playing to win. I know in your case, Mikey man, you've got the fierce rivalry with Kieran, who you desperately want to beat, and he desperately wants to beat you. So you got to play smart, that's for sure. An alternative way of looking at all of these games and the windows is this graphic. There's a link to this in the description as well. This is from FPL Cup Maker on Twitter, and they've made a really good graphic here of all of the games for the group stage, including when the deadlines are, including the substitution windows, you know, when you get transfers, how many you get. So for example, heading into the last 16, you get unlimited transfers. The quarterfinal you just get 3, semi-finals you get 5, and the final you get 5. So if anyone wants a copy of this graphic, that's in the description as well. Spanshy's gone Spinazzola captain. Interesting. Hope it comes in for you, Spanshy. What is the game on? In the UK, it is on... don't know where I can check it. It's on BBC One in the UK. That is something I read. All of the Euros games are going to be on Freeview TV in the UK. So ITV and BBC are going to cover all of the games of the Euros. That's good news. I can cancel my Sky subscription for a month and the BT subscription. Sean says, I'm going to win the league. Mark my words. I will mark your words, and I'll remember that if you do go on to win it. Obviously, winner of the FPL Focal Mini League gets the very, very exclusive golden username on the Discord, which we've only had one winner of before, which was Kieran. So that's what's up for grabs. So yeah, let's have a look at the Turkey-Italy lineups again, which are as follows. Who's everyone got captain for tonight's game? Hopefully everyone in chat has got someone from this game playing. As I say, it's the only game today, so after this game we've got the substitution window, so you've basically missed your opportunity at captain return if you don't have someone playing in tonight's game. Who have you guys got? Who's your captain? In my case, I've literally just got Berardi, who, as I say, did pretty well in recent friendlies. He's been in decent form. What do you reckon? Italy clean sheet? It's a bit confusing how they've laid it out as well, because they've got Turkey as the home game on the fixture, but this game is going to be played in Rome. So yeah, we're basically just under 10 minutes until the whistle blows at the Stadio Olimpico in Rome for Turkey v Italy, but Italy are actually the home team, even though they're on the right in all the fixtures you'll see everywhere. Appreciate everyone that has tuned in for this stream so far. I'll stick around all the way to the deadline. If anyone's got any player questions or general questions, put them in the chat. If you have enjoyed the stream, do like the video and subscribe to the channel. It's much appreciated. Lots of work goes into these streams beforehand in the background, so yeah, thank you again for being here, for tuning into this one. And as always, the party carries on our Discord, where I'll be active throughout the Euros. Loads going on over there. Sean's got Insigne, Berardi and Spinazzola tripled up on the Italy players. And that's another thing that changes as we get into the later stages. Obviously in the group stage you can just have 3 players. Just trying to find the section of the rules now. I had to read up on these rules because it's so different to FPL. So this is it. So the number of players per team. In the group stage you can have a maximum of 3 players from the same team. And in the round of 16 you can have a maximum of 4 players. It goes up to 5 in the quarters, 6 in the semis, and then in the final you can have 8 players from the same team. That's obviously another key difference to FPL, because as we go through the knockout stages, there's less teams in it, obviously, and obviously therefore less teams that you can include players from. TRP Cereals, how you doing, mate? He says Carrasco or Mason Mount. Oof, I think I'd go Mason Mount. I think he's very likely to start for England. Difficult to say if he does in the third match day, especially if England are through by then, but I think Mason Mount. Carrasco, I don't think he's nailed either. They're both rotation risks, but I think I'd go Mason Mount. So make sure, everyone, you've got your lineup in the right order. Make sure you don't have anyone on your bench who's playing today. Don't make sure no Italy players or Turkey players on your bench. And that's something that you're going to have to check in all the future games. It is, I have to say, it is a lot more hands-on. You have to monitor it a lot more than FPL to make sure you don't have any players on your bench that are actually playing that match day. But maybe that's how they get you. Make sure you're more invested in it. It is the most players ever in Euro Fantasy, just under 3 million managers. And we are 5 minutes till the deadline. As I say, there's a link in the description to the Discord as well if anyone wants to join that. We've got loads of channels exclusive for the Euros. We've got this Euros feed, which has things like the news, lineups. We've got the Euro scores. This is the live scores for all of the games. Updates in real time. We've got the Euro predictions, so we'll see who, if anyone, predicts the outcome of the tournament correctly. I'll lock this channel in 5 minutes once the deadline hits. Obviously got the details for our mini league if you want to join that. Got the Euros alerts. This is a really, really useful one. So whenever we're approaching the deadline, there'll be an automated alert in here, which includes substitution windows, because the substitution windows are going to be the key to doing well in Euro Fantasy, making sure you make your transfers and your subs before the next round of matches. Then we've got the Euro stat spot as well, so this is a useful one. As I said earlier, you can do things like points, but you can also do points forward, for example, and it will give you the expected points for just that category. So this is a useful one as well to target potential captains. And then of course we've got things like the general chat, we've got the live match chat, and loads more going on the Discord. Link in the description if anyone wants to join that. And as I said, if anyone wants to look at the goal scorer odds, the clean sheet odds, not just for the match day one, but for other match days as well, I've included links to that in the description as well. 3 minutes until the game kicks off at the Stadio Olimpico. Turkey v Italy is the first game of the Euros. Really looking forward to it. I'm going to have the game on 100%. And I'll be on the Discord, as always, to chat during the game. Who do you guys think wins the Euros? So Portugal are the holders, aren't they? They won the last one. That really was a memorable one. I remember Ronaldo getting his injury and he ended up basically managing the team from the touchline for the rest of the game. And somehow they went on to win it as well. I think it was against France. And then obviously France went on to win the next World Cup. So I think France have got to be the favourite. Have to be. But as much as I would love it, I don't know if it is coming home or not. We'll see. I didn't get time to look at some of the other bits and bobs I prepared here, but I had some graphics here for the injuries. Obviously, some of the notable absentees was Trent for England, Greenwood for England. There's quite a few key players here as well that are unlikely to make the first match day. Kevin De Bruyne is one of those. Obviously, he was saying to the King of Belgium that he's not going to make the first game, hopes to make the second. Hazard's another one with a fitness issue. Soboslai had to pull out for Hungary. He's their best player, so a massive miss for Hungary that. I already think they're going to struggle. I'm not sure if they even get any points in their group, if I'm honest. Busy, how you doing? It says Berardi and Mount or Insigne and Alaba. I would go Berardi and Mount. Yeah, Berardi and Mount. Poland obviously missing Milik. He's going to be a massive miss. He had a meniscal tear apparently. Mikey Man says Hazard's had a fitness issues for 2 years now. It's unbelievable how much a drop off he had after leaving Chelsea, because he was world class for his whole tenure at Chelsea. He was always a really, really good FPL asset. He had goals and assists in him. He could create goals out of nothing. And he's just had a nightmare since moving to Madrid. Constant injuries. I don't know what it is, but I know Real Madrid as a whole had tons of injuries last season. An unbelievable amount of injuries. I think we've got about 20 seconds until the deadline, and that is it. In fact, that is 8 o'clock on the dot now, so that is it. The deadline is here. The whistle has blown at Stadio Olimpico to kick off the Turkey v Italy game and to kick off the Euros. Oh, that's interesting. It just boots you out if you're on the website while the deadline hits. That's how I know the deadline's definitely passed. So, I'm going to finish the stream there. Thank you everyone who has tuned in for this one-off special edition Euro stream. I wanted to do at least one stream for the Euros, so I'm glad we could squeeze one in. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Like the video if you have enjoyed the stream. Subscribe to the channel if you want to come back for more in the future. But for now, it's a goodbye from me and good luck on this match day and in the Euros fantasy.